Okay, so I'm working on this job for a good friend of mine, John. John's a builder. He's a great fella, and I don't want to let him down. But ultimately, this is the type of job that I don't like to do. This is an outbuilding that we're working on for him, and it's being turned into a bungalow. Now the walls are all over the place, and there's loads of tricky little bits. I've had to cut tools down to the right size, which means sacrificing some of my eye bars. But anyway, doesn't matter. I've took the job on, and we're cracking on with it. But the weather has been playing havoc with us. Now, Friday we got so far, the customers who John's doing the job for, who's desperate for me to get my part finished, they're due back on Wednesday, which is literally in 3 days' time. So, this is what's been going on. Like, today, we're late. Anyway, we're going to go and scrape some K-rend, and this job is starting to wear me down. I tell you, flipping rendering in the winter time is not fun at all. These aren't little walls, and we hand apply, so anyway, you'll see, we'll be there in a minute. There's the rain as well to make it even more exciting today. Sierra Delta should already be here. In case you're wondering who Sierra Delta is, you'll see him in just a second. Here he is. That wall looks like it took some rain last night. It's still on though. Please don't tell me it's rock hard. It's rock hard. Oh, why was I born a plasterer? Oh, here we go. Today's weapons of choice. Now, this is the wall we're going to scrape back this morning. Forecast rain today. We've got the other side of the building too down there. I'll show you that later. This was the wall that we had a bit of fun with. We put this on. We put this on 2 days ago in the morning with accelerator, come in the afternoon and it was still soaking wet, so we had to scrape it yesterday morning, which was horrendous, rock hard. So today, this is just ready to go now. Show them down that wall. There's only a few metres for us to scrape back. So we're going to scrape this back and then start scratch coating around there later this afternoon. Okay, so at this point we're only 1 day behind. Now we cut these bars down to get in the tricky little bits, and then we scraped the wall, and whilst we did that, young Nave cleaned the back of the van. The day seemed to be going quite well.
See this Kirk, yeah? Literally took me 5 minutes. 5 minutes, looks lovely, looks lovely. You know what they say, happy van, happy life. Oh, gorgeous. You're welcome, Kirk.
Okay, and that was it. We scraped the rest of that wall, we cleaned up, we went round the end, we scratch coated that wall. We're basically on target now. All we're going to do now is get here first thing tomorrow morning with some accelerator, top coat that end wall, and we'll be done. The customers will come back and we'll be on target, they'll be happy. Right, so we're having a bad morning. The weather has been absolutely lashing it down all morning. The people that own the house want it finished when they get back. They're in America and they're coming back. It's been lashing down all morning and it's forecast rain for the next 2 days as well, so this is not looking good. I need 2 men to finish this big wall. Now I've woke up in the morning and the rain is bouncing down outside. The situation is Sierra Delta doesn't work with me all the time. So I would have to pay him to just sit around whilst it's raining. But if I can phone him early enough in the morning and tell him, listen, go and do one of your own jobs, Sam, because my job isn't looking good today. So that's what I did. I've cancelled Sierra Delta and he's gone off to do his own job. So now I'm stranded. And then guess what happens? After I've had breakfast, the sky clears up and the rain stopped. But Sam's already gone to do another job now, so now I'm stuck. So now we've had to go and tell the builder that we're not coming here today, even though it isn't raining now, because it was raining. You just can't win. We're going to another job because these guys need their job finishing. This is what being self-employed is always like. There's always something. The job we're going to now is to do a wardrobe, plaster where the wardrobe's going to go. And the reason we've got to go today is because the wardrobe fella has brought the job forward. The guy that's fitting the wardrobe is going to be 2 weeks. Now he can't come in 2 weeks. Now he's coming next week. So this needs plastering to dry out to be painted before the fitted wardrobe man comes. So it doesn't matter how good you are at organising your own diary, right? You can't control the weather and you can't control other people. Let's go. Right, okay, so we've got 184.
We've got 1 full, 1 basically, we've got 2 halves.
We've got 2 halves to finish.
Got 2 halves to finish, so basically 1 full 1.
Right, let's get a bag of finish and let's get another 8x4 loaded up as well, mate, alright? Right, so I know what you're thinking, Kirk, this is not a wardrobe. This is the situation. The woman with the wardrobe texted me this morning to say that the wardrobe man's coming sooner rather than later. So I texted her back and said, it's raining, we'll come to you today. And I've heard nothing since. I've also WhatsApped her and she hasn't checked them. And I've also rang her and she hasn't answered the phone. So she lives about 25 miles out the way. So I don't want to drive all the way there if she's not even in, because she hasn't got back to me. So then, the firm that we do some work for, the double glazing firm, they've built this little porch, and there's a few other little jobs that I know of that we can just hop on in the meantime. So we've popped here to do this little ceiling, which, I'll come in, mate, come in. We've got this little ceiling to do, which goes there, little step up, over there, and down there, and there. But we can't get any on the brickwork. So we're going to do this now, we're going to get this plasterboarded. If the wardrobe lady, Camilla, messages, then we'll board this and we'll go. And if she doesn't, then we'll stay and skim this. So this is the joys of being self-employed. Things change all the time, non-stop. It's just, you try and have a diary, you try and organise your diary, and you end up just ripping pages out. So just forget it. It's just easier to have a list of people. When I get little jobs like this, these are ideal for on the way home. There's no way something this size, it's about 2.5 square metres. This just doesn't pay 2 men for a day's work. So, you just couldn't write it. That's it. Notched in and around that. And the same over on that side, notched around that. So as of yet, time's getting on. That's prepped, that's ready to be skimmed. It's now 20 to 1. We haven't really got much more time. The lady with the wardrobes, she hasn't got back to me yet. I've had about 6 other phone calls and jobs come in the meantime, but none of them that we can do right now. So what we end up doing is now we're going to end up staying and skimming that. We'll use some accelerator, but the chances of going and getting anything else done today are getting quite slim. So this is what happens sometimes. You can't control the weather, you can't control other people. Now ultimately what's going to happen is I've got to pay the lad today and me. Do you think that that job is going to cover our wages today? Probably not, but to make ourselves feel better, as soon as we finish this, we'll probably have a game of snooker, and then all's good in the world again. So now, before we skim that though, me and Nathan, we're going to need some feeding, aren't we, mate?
Definitely.
So we're going to nip off now, go and get a little bite to eat, and see what happens in the meantime, because it's days like today when all of a sudden you think you've got nothing lined up, and then the phone starts ringing. So we'll just see.
Cheeky chippy.
So we're back at the job again now. We're going to start mixing up and skimming. We are going to do a little mix of plaster, no more than half a bucket, and we're going to use some accelerator so we're not here for too long, because we've only got like that much plastering to do. And then we've just noticed this has had a little bit of a boo-boo. So fortunately I've kept spare ones on the van. Let's find out today if a refiner whisk fits in the wall panel. What I used to do was, because I used to have like 3 or 4 refiner whisks I don't know why, I just collected them. I would keep paddles, spare paddles, and I always be buying extra paddles. I'm sure it's an M14 thread. I don't know if that's the same size thread. The won't whisk, so we'll soon find out if this refiner one fits it. Sorry, refiner. Sorry, we're moving over to DeWalt with your stuff. Gonna bash all the plaster off. There's two flat sides on this part, which is part of the whisk, and then there's the little nut that's part of the paddle. So you get all your plaster off like that. Probably not the best way of doing it, but it seems to work quite good. So then, let's grab hold of that. Now usually I have to do this by standing on it, but we'll just see if for some reason I can get it off with my hands today. No, we're going to have to get there. That spins that way, so it tightens up that way. I'm going to turn that way. Hey, look at that. See the power. Let's see if it fits. How do they compare for size? Oh, this is a little bit longer. And it fits like a glove. Look at the little created a hybrid. Alright, knife. I'm trying to break this one, mate.
Oh, sure it was me, of course it was,
Okay, so I'm trying not to get any on the brickwork. I mean, I don't want to get it on the frame either, but it will wipe off the frame. Whereas if the plaster goes into the brickwork, then it's staying in. There's not really a way of getting it back out again. It just sort of stains the bricks, so I'm trying to get as little as possible touching that. I think ultimately someone's going to come along and caulk up to the brickwork once I'm finished. But you never know, do you? You never know. So I'm going to just go for it as neat as I can in the meantime. And this is a lovely nick of plaster, by the way.
You're welcome.
So Nave, how many days you been working now, Nave?
It's third week now, isn't it?
Third week. He's basically got the mixing down to a fine art now. Every now and then we get a funny mix, but it's only every now and then, which is good. He's picked that up quite quick. I don't start about the spot board because I definitely haven't got enough room in here for the spot board. Oh, look at that. I missed a bit of screw up there. See, look there. I've scrimmed all the way. I missed that little section there. So I'll have to get some scrim on that. Trying to work the plastic into the bricks a little bit. But you've got to remember, the bricks will have a little bit of high suction, so don't leave big bulbs of plaster on there because it'll dry out quite quick. There we go, put our little piece of scrim in there that we forgot about. That happens to me all the time. But it's okay when I do it because I'm the boss. So if one of the lads do it, they get moaned at. Sam has had to go and do a different job today because there's just not enough work for him to do. I mean, I know this is a massive job, but we don't need three of us here doing it, so he's got to do his own job today. We've got Nathan on the camera. It's funny, Kieran was really good at filming. He's gone now. So Nathan's on the camera. We can't even let Sam anywhere near the camera because all you can hear when Sam's on the camera is he's the fella. If you've ever had phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning with heavy breathing, Sam's your man that does it. The first coat is on, as you can see. Today I've also got a young lady messaging me like crazy who I keep hanging on all the time. And I went to school with this lady, so we're going to go and see her. On the way back from this job, we're going to pop in and have a look at her job. We won't have time to do it, but she sort of waits for me that long, and as well, she's got a small business where her and her husband make cakes and homemade sausage rolls and pasties and all this. It's absolutely awesome. So I can't let her down because I'm one of her top customers. I don't want to poison me, so we're going to go and have a look at that on the way home. But we're going to second coat this now. The stuff's going fast. Nath is wetting up the plaster now for second coat. It's not ideal. If you get a second coat, you want to use fresh plaster, but for a job this size, all that happens is that just sets quicker. And for a job this size, we'll be fine. I'm not going to struggle, am I? I mean, look at it. So we'll get this done, and then I'll show you the end results in a minute. Let's get this second coat on. Yeah, so you couldn't write it, could you? The amount of things that, the amount of times plans have changed today, it's just, it's bizarre. But then, like now, we're going to be, what, a day behind. If it's raining tomorrow, we'll be 2 days behind. You know, it just adds up, and then, there's things people need urgently bringing forward because their jobs, timescales have changed. And you do all this, and you try not to disrupt anybody, but ultimately, at some point, somebody's going to get a phone call this week saying, can I put you back just a couple of days because I'm running late, you know? And then people say to you, why don't you organise your diary properly? What can you do? But it is what it is. I'll tell you what I do to try and compensate for this, because after 20 plus years of this, you get a bit, you know, a bit wise to it. I try and only book in 4 days a week, and I leave a day spare, like a Friday spare and the weekend spare. And then that way, when things sort of start going sideways, you've got a little bit of, you know, movement room. But that doesn't suit everybody. I mean, if you haven't got much work on, because I can always pull a job. I've always got little jobs on that I can just squeeze in, you know, to build the week up, but it doesn't always suit everybody doing that. There he is, cleaning out. Let's get over this quick. It is setting quite quick with the accelerator, but not too fast. There we go. There'll be some sort of trim going on there that covers over that, no doubt, so we'll just get it as close as we can. Again, trying to get into the brickwork as best as I can without getting it all over the brickwork is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Now you can tape it off, you can take the brickwork off, but then if your tape goes behind your plaster, when you pull the tape off, you pull chunks of plaster off as well, so that's not ideal either. in between now and a minute ago. I've had about 30 phone calls. My head is ready to explode. Right, I'm not even allowed in here now. Naif's got his own little way of packing the van, which, I mean, it's chaos, but it's organised chaos, isn't it, Naif?
It's not chaos.
He knows what. I'll just leave him to it. As long as he's happy, he can do what he wants. So, as long as he knows where everything is. So when I say, Naif, get me this one, get me that, he can just jump straight in and go and grab it. That'll do. Look at that, isn't that cool? That's like little ducks on the hedge. Get all your ducks in a row. Right, that sound, that's me mate. Turn off. That's me mate and his missus. They just want that done this week, so we'll just add that to the list of the other 30 jobs that I've got to get done this week. This is the madness now. It's the big push, isn't it, you know, for Christmas. So everyone needs everything doing for Christmas. Yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going for a game of snooker because my brain's frazzled and it helps me think. So at the end of that day, not only have I had jobs that have been pushed back and are starting to pile up, I've now got loads of new jobs added to my list of things that I need to get done, so the pressure has slightly increased. Now, Nave's been dropped off, he's gone home, he's been paid. I popped in to see the mechanics that are restoring my old Hilux Mark III for me to make sure them guys have got money and they've been paid. My missus will still want her housekeeping at the end of the week, and Sierra Delta has also been paid. The only guy that hasn't been paid for today is me. Now, since filming this video, I've had 2 more days where the weather has stopped progress on the rendering job, so I've ultimately lost more money. I'm trying not to think about it and calculate the exact cost, but one day I've actually had to pay Sierra Delta to do absolutely nothing because he couldn't go to another job. I kept him for so long in the morning and then that was the end of it. So I'm actually in the red. But that's just how it goes sometimes. So what was the whole point of this video? It was to show the general public this is sometimes what is happening to the tradesmen that are keeping you waiting for an extra day here and there. Their diaries can change at any minute, anytime. It's just how it goes. It can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes. And the other reason I want to show other tradesmen, it's not all sunshine and butterflies for me either. Sometimes things just go sideways. With as much planning and as much preparation, you can't control the weather and you can't control other people. Things just happen. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I'll see you on the next one.